People's Radio United.
We've kind of explained how to cop watch properly. Is there anything else you want to add as far as, techniques, methods, things to watch out for that might taint the evidence you're collecting in the eyes of a jury or a judge?
Sure, yeah. Like I said, try to remain calm. Even if you see the officer doing something wrong, don't start yelling. Just capture it. As hard as it is to do. I've been in situations where it's been just almost impossible to keep my mouth shut, just because of what I've seen. But I knew that the content that I'd capture would be useful later to somebody, and it has been. So yeah, just try to remain as cool and calm as possible, and know your limits. Know what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable getting 15 feet away, fine. If you're comfortable just sitting in your car with your cell phone pointed at the interaction, great. I don't think there's really any wrong way to cop watch per se. I think there are better ways to cop watch to bring to legal land. But I think as long as somebody is out there filming, that's a very positive thing. I am of the personal belief that I would rather capture something and not need it than to need something and not have it. So I would say capture every incident possible. The worst that's going to happen is you delete it off your phone. That's pretty much it. I mean, I hope more people are starting to take up this cause and realizing that cop watching is extremely important to keep your community and other communities that you might be passing through or visiting a little more safe.
Now I want to talk, we've kind of talked about proper techniques, and I'm sure the burning question on everybody's mind is, how dangerous is this? How dangerous can it get? How safe can it be? And what can you do to make it a safe endeavor? And I'm kind of moving to that right now, even though we have a good 45 minutes left. I'm moving to that right now because I think this is like the real important thing is, how do you stay safe doing this? How do you ensure your safety? And then the second part of this is going to be, what do you do when an officer tries to harass you or intimidate you when you're filming cops? So let's go into that.
Sure. It's all how safe you want to make it. I mean, that's why I recommend the live streaming. I have only had one really, really negative encounter. I mean, I've had, different police employees like shine their lights in my camera or grab their crotch in front of me or something like that. But I've only once had a particularly negative encounter where a police employee took away my camera and charged me with a crime, which I was able to defend myself with the help of the Minnesota ACLU in court. But yeah, most of my interactions have been completely safe. Most of the time, I'll walk up with a camera, and it makes that situation level real quick, and the police leave. That has been my experience. Others have had different experiences. I can't speak for every community how easy it would be. Some communities it's really safe. Other communities it's a little more risky. It really all depends on the community you're in. But your safety is in your own hands. Like I said before, let someone know where you are. Live stream. and it will make that process much more safer for yourself.
So definitely tell them that you're live streaming. Definitely let them know that even if they take your phone, the video is still being collected somewhere that they can't get to.
You can do that. I personally don't let them know I'm live streaming. I just pretty much stand there and in a calm, cool way. I kind of don't want them to know if I'm live streaming or not, because there might be another that doesn't live stream, and I kind of want to keep them guessing. I want the police employees to think, well, is this person live streaming or is not? Let's just leave this area and let's just end this right here. So that's why I don't tell them. You can tell them if you want. Like I said, there's really no wrong way to do this.
Okay. So I guess you said it's only happened once, and to other people it's happened more, where police have actually gone to the extent of taking away your camera and charging you with a crime. And I'm guessing there's people who've been outright assaulted for
right.
cop watching as well. And when that kind of situation comes up, like, how a person might be sitting there wondering, should I leave? Should I not leave? There's a person here who's probably going to get fucked up just because of how hostile this cop's being. If I leave, that person is completely on their own. But if I don't leave, am I in danger? Like, how do you deal with that situation? How do you know, first of all, when to leave? And if you have an officer taking a threatening posture towards you or a hostile posture towards you, like, what can you do to regain control of the situation?
Like I said before, it's all up to the individual. I'll never ask anybody to put themselves in a situation that could put them in harm or that they're uncomfortable with. If you feel you need to leave, that's what you need to do. I personally don't leave just because, I am okay with the risk associated with not leaving. I am fine with spending a night in jail. Others aren't, and I understand that. Some people have jobs to get to. They don't have the vacation time they could take, stuff like that. So it really is all up to the individual. I won't chastise anybody for keeping themselves safe. I would like to see people stay on the scene, but I know that's not always possible. If you have 10 police employees against you, maybe your best bet is to back away. I don't know. I can't make that call for everybody. I can only make it for myself. I expect others to only be able to make that for themselves as well. So I'd say if you start getting harassed by a police officer, to try to calm them down, to use a calm voice, not yell back, just say, officer, I'm just here, exercising my First Amendment right to film police. I don't mean anybody any harm. I just want to record this, and I'm just going to stay over here and be quiet, and I'm not here to hurt anybody. And that sometimes can calm them down. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes an officer will stand right next to you to try to intimidate you, and that's happened to me. And I'll just stand there and keep doing, keep recording. Just because a stranger's standing next to me doesn't mean I'm going to be intimidated enough to shy away. So that is one way to deal with it. And, another way is to try to encourage other people to come to the scene, like you said, with cell 411 or text your friends, or maybe get some other people that are just community members to just come over and stand in the area. the more people you have at a cop watch location, the less likely the police are to use intimidation or force against you.
So at that point, maybe when an officer is taking a hostile or aggressive stance toward you, and it's looking like the situation could turn really bad for you, like I know you said you kind of like to keep them guessing, but would you say at that point, telling them they're being live streamed is a really good strategy?
It definitely could be. It might get them to think, well, my actions are being live right now. And when you say live stream, they don't know if it's Facebook Live or if it's Bamboozer live stream or whatever other service. And especially nowadays with certain things like the Philando Castile aftermath being live streamed on Facebook, police officers may shy away just because they know the impact that had. So they may not want to continue to intimidate you after hearing that they're being live streamed. Right.
Now, when you're doing it, like you said, everybody's different, and I certainly, if the event starts becoming triggering for you, it's a good idea to walk away because it's very hard to stay in control. It's very hard to stay calm. But like in your own cop watching, do you have kind of a barometer you follow or a meter you follow where, okay, when these certain things are starting to happen, that's my time to go away, or like just kind of rules of thumb of okay, this is when the situation's really getting to where I need to leave, or this is when the situation's getting to where I need to do certain things, and what are those certain things, just for yourself?
I mean, it's all situational for me. I'm more likely to allow myself to be arrested if need be, if I have, say, vacation time or something like that. I might back down a little. Let's say if I have something like a family reunion or a plane trip the next day, I might not be so adamant about standing my ground. Everything is situational. Everything is individual. I really don't have a barometer. So I put myself in situations where I was just about to get arrested, and I've also backed down because I've had stuff to do. So it's very much situational for everybody.
For the person who, because I think a lot of people have this situation, they can't take time off from work and they can't get arrested, and of course nobody wants to get insulted. Are there certain cues in each situation that tell you, let's just go to a time when you do have work the next morning, you can't afford to get arrested, are there certain cues that you notice and always kind of take as an indicator, like, okay, this happened, this tells me, or this was said, this tells me it's time to get out of here now?
Yeah, one of the biggest keys to me is when a police employee will come up real nice and close to you, like right in front of you, to intimidate you. There are a lot of bad things that can happen when a police officer gets that close to you, especially if they do it right in front of your camera, because then they can claim that you made a fast movement or something like that, because they're so close and the camera view is essentially blocked. Even if they're wearing a body camera, if they're only a foot and a half away from you, that body camera only captures a very little part of you. It might capture just like your chest or something like that. It won't capture your arms, and they can say, well, he took a swing at me, or she did this, and so, something like that. So Yeah, the biggest cue is if they get nice and close to you.
Okay, so if an officer does get really close to you like that, that's typically a time to leave. If, say, you want to try to press the envelope just a little further, like, what can you do to deal with the fact that the officer is standing right next to you? Is like, how would you handle that? Or how do you handle that?
I can think of one time that an officer, ordered me to leave when I was standing on a public sidewalk, filming him parked on a public sidewalk, and I said, "No, I'm going to stand right here, and I'm just going to continue to film you." And that it made him think a little bit, and he actually took off from that location. So, I mean, again, it's all situational. It's what the individual thinks might work for them at that point in time. Other things you can do is to say, "No, I'm gonna take a couple steps back here, and I'm gonna continue what I'm doing. This is my right to do this. It's all what you feel like as a person. Keep yourself safe is the main thing."
If you move away from them and then they move up on you, and you take a couple steps and then they move up on you, would you say at that point in time you're showing, like, when that shows up on the camera, would you say that looks like shenanigans to a jury, to the media? Like, is that a good way to handle that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if a police employee is following you, and it obviously on video shows that they're trying to intimidate you, I mean, that's grounds right there that they're trying to intimidate you, that they're doing something wrong. I've never had that happen to me. I've seen that happen to other people though. Like there's some police employees that will walk with the person if they're trying to walk away. I mean, I've seen people leave a situation, the police employee still tries to intimidate them by walking next to them or behind them, or as close to them as possible. And that to me, and hopefully to a jury, would show that police employee is just out to intimidate somebody. That there's no protection in that. There's no that they're trying to continue a bad situation. They're not letting it go. I mean, if someone's trying to walk away and you're intimidating them, you're essentially trying to stop them from walking away. That looks really bad on the police employee.
And that's a scary situation to be in, where you're like, okay, so I'm going to leave, and then they just like walk with you, walk next to you. Two things that occur to mind is, first of all, it's going to create a lot of apprehension and even panic in yourself. To a typical person in this situation, it's going to create that. And then the second thing is who knows what's going to happen at that point. I'm guessing you've been in that situation before, and is there, like, what have you done to, like, keep yourself calm, and what have you done to try to make that situation safer?
Just keep the camera rolling, keep the camera on the officer. Just know that there are other people out there that will support you if something bad happens, that if you should get arrested. There's networks all over the place that will come to your support if you should happen to be kidnapped and caged by a stranger wearing a costume and a badge. That's probably the biggest thing that's helped me. Is I know that there's people all over the country that will support me, and others doing the same thing.